Well, we always knew it would happen sooner or later, but after tonight's municipal elections of November 3rd, 2009, it appears that liberty is beginning to gain traction in New Hampshire politics. I'll probably have more details for you tomorrow, but here are the shocking, and in some cases not shocking, victories. Spending cap passes in Manchester. Never would have been on the ballot without Free Staters. There was, I think, only one race for statewide office yesterday, and it was won by the Liberty Alliance candidate. Or maybe I should just refer to her as the Liberty Alliance-backed candidate. Her name is Lynne Blankenbeker, and she defeats, narrowly, an incumbent, Rhino, who had switched to the Democratic Party. Liberty activist Phil Greazzo wins his second attempt to become an alderman in Manchester. Greazzo had been crushed 2 years ago because of his support for marijuana legalization. He's a Republican. According to UnionLeader.com, Somersworth voters overwhelmingly have approved 3 apparently pro-liberty initiatives. This is a victory for the natives, not the Free Staters. They reduce city councilors to 2-year terms and fine them $50 for each missed meeting. They establish a code of conduct and an ethics commission for city employees and officials. That's some of the good news. There's also bad news. Most of the Manchester authoritarian candidates were re-elected. The spending cap initiative has failed in Claremont. And unless I'm missing something, that was the only 2 really bad pieces of news I could find. The Republican victory in Concord is especially significant, the state-level victory, because the Concord delegation to the State House had been made up entirely of Democrats. Now there will finally be one Republican, and a Republican considered pro-liberty in many circles. The Manchester mayor's race went to Ted Gatsas, and that would be that's actually a better result than any of the other results we could have had, unless we had won them in the primary. Gatsas was running against Alderman Mark Roy, who was much worse. My expectation would be that Gatsas will be slightly less good than current mayor Frank Guinta, so it's not going to be a step forward, but it's better that he won the election than Mark Roy. He has a history of at least sort of keeping an eye on spending and keeping it more or less under control, and he's considered very knowledgeable about the budget. There are a lot more results across the state that I cannot make heads or tails of because I don't know who the candidates were. I don't recognize the names. But the parts that I'm able to see look mighty good for the most part. Bad news. Speaking more of bad news, most of the bad news is actually coming out of Keene. Nick Ryder, the Keene Liberty activist, ran for city council, placed 8th in a run for 5 seats. I don't know how many total candidates were running. Relatively pro-liberty incumbent Joe Bendezinski was knocked off the city council. And as usual in Keene, way too many of those folks ran without sufficient opposition. Just running a pro-liberty campaign against these guys is, I guess, in itself a victory. Another possibly slightly pro-liberty outcome is that a pro-power plant candidate has won in Berlin, New Hampshire. I guess there had been a debate over the years in Berlin regarding biomass plants, and apparently the city's position kept the plants from being built. Now it looks like the plants will be able to move forward. At least it's more likely. I guess they're going to be built by Laidlaw. I mean, I guess this all depends on how the politics shake out. But the vote outcome was basically interpreted by the union leader as meaning that the voters would like the biomass plants to be built. I need to know more before I could say for sure that that's a pro-liberty outcome. Certainly would have been nice, though, if we had had more liberty activists running in these municipal elections. The number of candidates running in itself can be a victory, because so many races are uncontested.